I really should clean that all. Yeah, well. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Hello, 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 he says to nobody in particular apart from those watching on replay. We have someone. We have a captive. How is everyone this week? I hope everyone is okay. There we go. Mr. Yella and Delulu and Scotty Aquati and Marquis Mark and Stilvata. Greetings all. Hope all are well. Hope all are doing wonderfully. Hope you've had kind of experiences I've had today, but there we go. We'll talk about that more later. Let's let everyone say hello to everyone first. It's like it was waiting on the clock to tick over or something to say that I was on. Yeah. So we'll start as we normally start. The week in fish. Not a lot happened. The usuals. Had to bin another couple of batches of bristlenose eggs because I've got somewhere to put them. I just don't necessarily want another 300 bristlenoses right now. So best way to do it is get rid of them while they're still heggies before the male has been wafting away on them in a cave for several days. Yeah, it's best way all round, I suppose. Missy Cara has hidden her eggs or wrigglers or whatever there might be somewhere in the tank and I can't see them. And the bionic Bigfoot is not here today. So yes, no Dennis here. Couldn't wait to see my face. Already did 240 squats thinking about me. As long as you're not teabagging, that's fine by me. And thank you very much, Mark, for being so wonderfully generous and gifting out all the various memberships. We like a bunch of members around here. And for people in chat, just because the membership's gone to someone, it doesn't mean they're here. They tell me what to do. Yeah, beware, I do bite, so no teabagging. Hello, Dave. Yeah, Dave's not here, man. Yeah, it kind of selects the memberships randomly to subscribers who have already got it switched on to allow. It makes us all look bad. No, Mark is just an awesome dude. And if I say many more nice things about him, he's going to go bright red. So I won't. Bun, my lovely. How are you, my dear? Mwah. You have to give Bun a hug. I'm a cheeky beggar, so I try and sneak a kiss as well. Just because I'm a tart, really. As well as being weird, apparently. Exactly. If I had the spare income to hand it out a bit more, I would. But as you know, I only work part-time. So there we go. Yes. Basque beauty. Ooh. Basque as in from the Basque region, or Basque as in wearing one? That's what we really want to know. And there are other reasons for you to feel shamed. doing 240 squats while thinking of me is a big enough reason to feel ashamed. Fell asleep 2 seconds after I said nap. Oh dear, bless you. Bless you, bun. Yeah, it happens. When the body says, I need to sleep, it goes sleepy. And then you wake up whenever, and it's not normally at the best kind of time. If you can hear a random rattling sound, it's one of these filters. Is probably got a snail crawled into it that is currently getting ground away by the impeller. 33 days post total hip replacement, doing PT 3 times a week. Well, good on you, Dennis. We'll have you zooming around. You'll be doing the marathon soon. Thomas Scotty, Alien World, Hessoft, how art thou? And Orchids and Endlers, good eating. Been a member my whole life. And Adele. Trying to think of something smarmy and kind of. Yeah, no, we're not there. My Antipodean Aphrodite. There we go. That's weird enough. Yes, I kind of had to do the thumbnail. Hello, Debs, me darling. How are you? Was following last week's live stream. I had someone leave a comment on a replay crew, a name I'm not familiar with, telling me don't be weird. I'm thinking you're at the wrong channel if you don't want people to be weird. It's kind of me. I'm just weird, full stop. I mean, it's a channel about fish and the paranormal, for crying out loud. What do you expect? It's going to get weird. Ooh. Yeah, I'll say storms can make sleep interesting, especially if you've got doggos. Weird stuff is the fun stuff. Exactly. I don't want to be normal. I want to separate myself from all the normal people. That's what makes me me, being weird. Exactly, Kitty. And hello. Shall I be weird? Never. I'm even weird when I try and be normal. Because you have to be semi-normal dealing with customers at work. Even then, I still weird some of them out. So many white, tan, and grey cars. Too normal. Exactly. It all depends, though, with me. If I had a car, if I drove, what would I do? See, if I was driving an old banger that by the time I'd finished with it, it was just going to go to scrappy, then yeah, I would just paint it with my airbrush, whatever I felt like. Yeah, why be boring at work? Exactly. Yeah, you try and have a bit of fun. Some customers can take a bit more fun than others, can't they? There's some you can have a good laugh with, a bit banter, have some fun. And there are others who just, you crack the slightest little joke and they're like, thankfully, let me speak to the manager isn't really a thing here quite yet. G'day, Linkbot, and Andrew, who's currently stuck in a greenhouse in the middle of a thunderstorm. Send it this way, buddy. You can have a white car, then you have to have white rims too. That's easy to do. You just sand off of the, get a bit of sandpaper and take off all the varnish on the alloys, and they turn white in a couple of weeks. And look at you like asking for the firstborn. Yeah. Yeah. Some people are just as weird, and you can have a good chat, banter, and a laugh. Other customers, no. Hell, I had to serve my doctor this week. He didn't say a word about me then going outside and having a cigarette. Oh, metal framed. Oh dear. Could be worse. Hailstones and no pork pies. Yeah, that would be worse. I was wife used a paint roller. Exactly. Why not? Make it your own. Exactly. Yeah, metal framed. No, I didn't say what's up, Doc. No, I did miss out on that one. He's not English or non-European or North American, so might not have got the joke. And J-Rock is back doing stuff. Wowzers. Yeah, I'm good. How's you? I'm as well as can be expected for a lazy, fat, middle-aged man. You know, that's as well as it gets. What else did we do this week? Did have to cut my bike ride a bit short because I misplanned it. And then forgot a couple of very important things when I went out for my ride. Ended up doing 16.5 miles. It was getting hot because we've had an hot week again. And yeah, I had like one bottle of water, one small bottle of Coke. And I realised I'd left my wallet at home. So yeah, I was out of the Coke and rapidly running out of water. So I detoured back home again rather than do another 8 or 9 miles. It's Johnny, Mr. Be Good. Haha, there we go. Oh, and the babby anglefish. Mrs. Angel moved them around. Bonsoir, Angelique. Looks like the government is falling down here. They all look like that, to be honest. Although whether anything actually comes of it, we will see. I mean, I've not paid a huge amount of attention to what's been going on, but as an Englishman, we kind of just look at it and we go, it's just the French being French. But yeah, that's just the way it is, really, I'm afraid. Got to do tank work, terribly behind. I've got to do all my water changes tomorrow. That's going to be fun. At least it's going to be cooler than it has been. Because we were back up to 30 degrees yesterday. It's 21 today. But completely different to the last time it was 30 degrees. There's no humidity really at the moment, so it was dealable. It wasn't a case of just dripping everywhere. It was like, yeah, it's hot, but if you get inside out of the sun, it was quite pleasant, really. Got about less than 15 babby angles. That's still plenty. Devilfish, as I think they'd be better known as. We don't stock cichlids. You've got angelfish. Oh, well, they're cichlid. Yes. They're particularly vicious and evil cichlid as well, but people don't seem to notice that. My neon tetras keep disappearing. Does anyone got an idea of what's happening? And then you look at the picture of the tank and there's a honking great angelfish there. You go, yeah, I know where they're going. In one end of the angelfish and out the other. slightly less alive at the other end. Yeah. I know I'm biased, right? And they're hot. Oh, are you nesting down there, you silly ape? You do realise you're both boys, unless one of you's miraculously changed sex. But yeah. Yeah, it's got a tail out of its house. So as you put angelfish with red devil cichlids, maybe not red devils, but you know, something that isn't their natural prey in the wild. But yeah, rather than angelfish, I think more people would be better off with those dudes, electric blue acaras. It'd be devils and devils, you see. Hey, evening, Zoltan. How you doing? The thing you'd have to have, though, if you had angels and devils in the tank, would be a statue in the middle with broad shoulders. So you get them one on each shoulder. Now that would make an awesome picture. But let's go to Monteverde. Park with gardens, animals, and riders, but due to the weather here, yeah. Is it hot and horrible there, Angelique, or is it wet and thundery? He's my French is failing me. Can't remember what the French for thunderstorm is. And in Spanish, I think it's stormo electrico, isn't it? Well, it is in English, Spanish. When English holidaymakers go to Spain, that's how they speak. They think they're speaking Spanish. Damn, maybe yes. And I got some nice koi. Well, if it's raining, the koi will be at the top. Guarantee that. So it does seem that, again, the weather in the UK has missed the east. It's gone down the other side. It's gone through Suffolk. It's just thrown a swerve and gone all the way around the outside of Norfolk. We've had very little rain, and we're supposed to be getting, well, thunderstorms. It's all missed us. Yes. Right. I'm noticing they're getting warm now, but that's just because I'm sitting basically surrounded by hot water. So yeah, it's always warm when I do my streams. Yeah. Temperature will soon drop once the sun goes down in about 3 hours. So yes, what else we've been up to this week? Bike ride. Yeah. Another thing I thought, there's something don't feel right about the bike. There's something that just doesn't feel right. I don't know what it. Got home, go to check the tyres. They were both down to £30 per square inch. Well, it should be up at 80. So that'll do it. Yeah, so we pumped up the tyres and re-lubed the chain. And then, yes, a lot better going to work for like the next couple of days. Next week's ride will be weather dependent because, you know, if it's piddling down my rain, I'm not going to be going out. How many tanks on the rack? There's 7. We've got 3 on that shelf, 3 on that shelf, and the larger Pleco grow out tank on the bottom shelf. Basically, what I try to do is move a spawn down as I sell one, which keeps things moving. Problem being, don't sell that many of the super reds, which are in there, in there, and in there. And yeah, then you start getting a backlog. And it's that time of year where people don't buy many fish, so the shop's not buying many. So I'm having to cull just to keep the numbers down. Once I get the numbers back to where I want them to be, it will be a freshly hatched, sort of month-old spawn in one tank, then the 2-month, etc., split between another 2 tanks, and then they go back together into the bottom tank, because they're 28 litre and the bottom's 42. Got lots of pleco fry. What have I got at the moment? 150, 300, 450, 600, 700, 850. I've got about 900 at the moment. And if I hadn't culled the last 2 batches, I'd have been at 1200. So, yay. 120 for me, that's not even one spawn. When they're fully grown, like mine are, and producing, yeah, each pair drops 150 a month, and I've got 2 pairs. And I'm kind of glad I didn't get a female lemon blue eye, because otherwise I'll be getting 3 lots a month. Yeah, plecos are awesome at making more plecos and poop. Lots of poop. So Nabokov, how you doing? Just linking Sharpe vid on the AA Discord. Oh dear, what have I done now? This is how not to do it. This guy is insane. This guy's weird. He's telling people not to put bits of decorative ceramics in their filter. How dare he think that a bit of sponge has got pretty much the same amount of surface area as my posh rocks. Oh, the clown pleco guide. Hey, that one's accurate, right? Anyone with clown plecos, how often do you actually see them? Right, so yes, I filmed the species profile on the clown pleco, and there wasn't a clown pleco to be seen. To be fair, I do see them more often now they're in the blackwater tank. That was actually one of the minor issues we had in there this week. Was Missy Nanakara, have a drink, Sam, moved her eggs into the pleco cave. I was like, yeah, that's going to end one of 2 ways. We're either going to have Nanakara babies, or we're going to have an extra fat clown pleco, one or the other. I'm not sure which has happened yet. Getting about 40 or 50 babies. Yeah, so I've got it down to a fine art where I basically get 100% survival rate. I've got a whole series of like 6 videos on breeding bristlenoses, including one which is actually watching the boom chicka wow wow going on. And yes, bristlegasms are a thing. Yes, you can see Spotty having a proper bristle trembler. It was, felt kind of perverse watching it, but like breeding the sun. Yeah, they are awesome fish. And bristlenose plecos is something that probably 90% of tanks have a bristlenose in it. Outside of the fish nerd community, anyway. People get one just because it'll eat the algae and I won't have to clean the glass. That kind of reasoning is why people get them, and I'm not complaining. I just wish more people would buy the prettier ones. I'm not saying the commons aren't, but if more people would be willing to pay the extra and get a super head or a long fin super head instead, I'd make more money. Specifically, I'd make 3 times the money. Apparently, one of the biggest issues having the clown to eat. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't think I've ever actually seen my clown plecos eat. There's 3 of them in that 10-gallon tank, 40 litre, along with a pair of Nanacara, about 83 million snails, bunch of shrimp in there somehow. Oh, and Ember Tetra. It's about 5 years old now. What's that? Oh, chunk of tooth. Never mind. I'd probably sell 50 commons to every super red, but I supply direct to store, so that's what they sell. So one of them out eating once, ran to the algae way for midday right after I dropped in. Yeah. In my case, it would be just to get there before the snails do, but yeah, there's a lot of wood in there. There's a monster anubias that's got loads of surface areas to munch on, leaf litter, so they're not going hungry. I just don't see them eat. Yeah. Well, it's because I keep and breed the ram's horns, so they end up in basically every tank accidentally. And Malaysian trumpet snails, they just teleport. At night, they're out and about eating. It's just this one is day and night hiding. Her name is Luigi. I've not named my clowns because I don't see them often enough to give them names. Closest they get is, oh, hello, Clowny Pleck. And then they scoot off and hide again somewhere. I'm surprised one hasn't cooked itself because it always hides behind the heater. There's one that lives in the cave and another one that lives in a hole under the piece of wood. Yeah, see them every so often. I know they're happy because they're growing and they're fat. I think I've got 3 males though, so all 3 females because there's been no breedy. Name the clown pleco Pagliacci. I'm gonna leave that one quirky. How you doing? Yeah, and I can't tell the difference between them because they all. I'm not being racist towards clown plecos. Pagliacci's a depressed clown. I mean, if I was going to do that, I'd name them after the character. It'd be Gacy, and probably one of the ones from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Yeah, Pogo. Yes, that was Gacy's alter ego, wasn't it? Pogo the Clown. No, we're not going to go down that route. That's going to get real dark real fast. And it's a bit early in the day for that. Well, it's never too early for me to get dark, but yeah, Pennywise the Clown Pleco. I mean, if I kept salty stuff and I had a clownfish, I would call one Pennywise. It wouldn't be bloody Nemo or Dory or anything. Ye gods, no. Clown Pleco is called Bob. That's a very sensible name, Bob. Now, Dr. Michelle, depressed doctor said, the great clown Pagliacci is in town. See him and you'll be cheered right up. All your worries would seem like nothing. The man said, but doctor, I am Pagliacci. Go on, Boris Johnson, true clown, yes. The Blackwater, I will get on that in a moment. You might have to remind me, but Ian Douthwaite, how the devil are you, sir? Been a long time. I hope you're all well and demolishing your weight in ice cream weekly. My knowledge of cold water ponds, I've been a fisherman most of my life and I've got a pond in the garden. And if I don't know it, chances are someone else here will. So if you have questions, Ian, ask away. For those who don't know, Ian is a scale modeler, builds absolutely amazing scale models of lorries, trucks, semis, whichever you call them, road trains. Super red calico called Jinx. Well, Bristol knows names. So we've got Spotty and Bertie in here. Bertie is the sunshine bristle nose. That's Spotty. Dad to him, God knows how many thousands. And we got Dig and Doug, who are the lemon blue eyes, because they like digging. And then Fred and Ginger, who are the super reds. That's the names of my placos. Back to the Blackwater, can I talk about my experience in terms of fish behaviour or plant health? Have you noticed major changes? Not really. The other plants in that aren't doing that well because there's not a lot of light. But the Anubias is doing well. That's growing like crazy. Algae grows well in there. Well, on the glass. Where the tank is when I leave the house and open the front door, that means that the front door curtain is open, which means it gets direct sun on it. So there's usually some algae on the glass. It's probably why there's so many snails in there. I've not really noticed a huge difference with fish health or anything, but one thing I will say is that, oh, pardon me, when I stuck the Nanacara in there, Mr. Cara had been getting nobbled by the limia in here. I had a over-exaggeration, big old wound on his side, which was white, where they just kept picking at him because they saw him as a threat, which is kind of the idea, which is why I put dwarf cichlids in there, is to eat some of the limia fry. Turns out the adult limia are a bit smarter, the guppies, and actually attack the dwarf cichlids. But yeah, it was within a week he was completely healed up in the Blackwater. And all I do to make it black is keep the pH down. I use rainwater out. I point that way because it's outside that way. When it comes to water changes, it gets part butt water, which is rainwater that's percolated through many years build up of dead leaves and ivy and peat on the roof of the shed. So that's Blackwater already. And I use the Rubos tea bags, a couple of them in the filter, and then drop a few alder cones in there along with some dead leaves I collected last autumn. There we go. Ian's pond is 3x4, 1 meter deep, so 9 to 12 foot, 3 foot deep. Established for 15 years, no issues apart from heron. Past 6 weeks, found 3 fish fatalities. This morning, found a dead bloated frog. I would say might be down to oxygen levels. If the oxygen levels have plummeted, that might have done it. Sometimes there can be parasites. If there's nothing obvious like cottony, fungusy, or red patches on the fish where they've obviously got some kind of disease or something, Yeah, it could be something getting in there, grabbing or scaring. Got frogs, so it's not going to be the frogs. And I'm guessing they're probably big enough to have not choked themselves on frog spawn or tadpoles. I say, if there's no obvious signs of any kind of diseases or nastiness, it could just be an age thing. Are we talking goldfish or anything specific, as in a flavour or breed of fish? It's like there are certain diseases, but they would show up. If they've got no external injuries or signs of disease, could be parasites, could be age, could be oxygen, could be water getting too warm, goldfish. Goldfish, it could be the water's got too hot for them. I know, ironic, but it does happen. Only 3 feet deep. It's not deep enough to get a thermocline. Contrary to popular belief, people who own fish have been found to possess an uncanny ability to communicate telepathically with their aquatic pets. No, we haven't. May want to invest in a net or extend the depth and provide more hides. Yeah. It could be that the herons grabbed them but not actually caught them. In which case, kind of internal injuries is the one that you tend to go for then. Well, then I got lucky, the goldfish out there, and mixing bowl all day being and grapes, then coming and being driven to where I work in a sandwich bag. Back with the tea bags, what are we talking about? The red bush. Those are the ones I use for the black water tank. Leaf wise, I have catappa and teak that I bought, and oak, lime, walnut, and beech leaves that are dried that I add myself. And it happens to be down here. Turn it round. That thing's full of all the cones. No, I didn't buy them online. I found where there's some alder trees around here. I want to grow a catappa tree. If you've got the environment to grow a catappa tree, you might have a few too many leaves, but you'd probably sell them quite easily. No, Burton early doing the followy. We have a tube out. We have a tube out and someone's digging a nest. Don't tell me that they've suddenly decided at 5 years old they're going to actually breed. So I'm pretty sure they're both male. That would be ironic if I did get them things breeding. As I bought 3, thinking I've got to have at least a male and a female within 3. Turned out I had 3 males, as far as I know, because no breedy has gone on. There's been some these two are lip locked plenty of times, so I'm fairly sure they're both boys, but I'm just waiting on my shrimp evolving to be land based. judging by how they get from tank to tank, they must be crawling around out of the tanks. But yeah. Yeah. Knowing my luck, I do have a pair of gay electric fluocaras. Do you think that tank's overstocked there with the Limia? Let's see. Do you reckon we're slightly overstocked on Limia at the moment? Bit of a mosh pit vibe going on. Oh, look out. Yeah, there's just a few in there. You say nah? Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you know, there's still all the babies down here as well. Thank you. No, that's not an anomaly. You missed it. We've been talking about Nanocara Anomala. Yeah, it's a 1 inch per gallon. Well, it's a 50-gallon tank. And I usually work on feet per gallon. So yeah, we've got two 6-inch electric fluocaras, 5 and a 6 and a bit inch bristle nose. There's another escapee bristle nose in there. It's about 3 inches, and there's probably about it's well over 100 Limia and about 20 Cories in there. A couple of black neons floating about as well, but you know, it's yeah. I mean, I suppose when you look at that tank next to these tanks, that one is understocked. Yeah. You cannot keep a bristle nose in under 20 gallons. 150 and a 6.5. How's that sound? Yeah. That's one of those things people think I'm actually joking about. Yeah, exactly. It's healthy. But, you know, people think I'm actually joking at the quantity of bristle noses in some of these tanks. But they're all rather cloudy at the moment because of dual water change. Yeah, they've each literally got 150 bristle noses in them. They're just literally everywhere. And then there's that one down the bottom. Which, yes, is just a large piece of driftwood and a tank full of bristles. And then this one's overstocked as well. All the shelly dwellies. But it's not my fault it's overstocked. They keep re-overstocking it themselves. Every time I sell a bunch off, I have more babies. They're all over the place in here. Yeah, there's some. Front and centre. All over the shop. Baby shelly dwellies everywhere. Oh, and just for Adele, stretch, stretch, stretch. Lemon blue eye. Call him better. Yeah. Tommy, you been out playing mean pinball again? How you doing, my friend? But what do you use to fertilize your plants, Sharpie? They're growing so amazingly well. Poop. I use poop. Oh. Always playing a mean pinball. Exactly. Oh, Scotty Quatty's doing poop emojis. Watch your ears if you're on headphones. Squeaky poop. There we go. And anyone who's got pets, their pets have just gone nuts. Squeaky poo. Yes. I was in a pet store one day and it was like 99p. I just saw it. I was like, has to be done. I just thought I need a squeaky poop emoji in my life. Mr. Hanky, the squeaky poo. Yes. Howdy ho, Kyle. And my very, very bad impersonation of Mr. Hanky. I struggle with my own accent, as I've often said. I don't do other accents. Realising I'm consciously trying to keep the Norfolk out of my accent while I'm being recorded. If only real life pooping could sound that at all. Just imagine that. You sat there and you'll be me. You'd be any public loo, like in a pub or a restaurant or something. You'd gone in, you just sat down, and he's here. From the next stall. It'd be better than the splattering sounds, I suppose. Today's break day, taking a mental health day and hiding from everyone. You know, guys, not treated in any way, good or bad, just floating and making sure everyone else is good. It takes a toll. It does. We'll just need. Yeah, we'll every so often we all just need an us day, as I call it, a me day. So yeah, I get 3 days off a week. One day, water changes. The Sunday is Mary time and streaming and other stuff. The other day is me day. If I sit around and do absolutely nothing but watch YouTube and nap, doesn't matter. It's a good day. It's just decompressing, chilling, not dealing with other people. That is the main gist of it. Lately, I've been going on bike rides instead of just sitting down. Milady Diane, how are you? I'm trying not to think about you in bed. Strong men need to be checked in on too. Don't forget to check in on the people you think got it all figured out. None of us do. No, we don't. And a lot of the times, the strong people are the ones who are just really good at covering it up. I tend to fall into that category. I'm really good at covering up when I'm in a bad way. It's yeah. I'll hide it and I'll hide it and I'll hide it and I'll hide it, and then yeah, I'll explode, and then people wonder what the hell happened. It's just the way I've had to be throughout my life, so it's just kind of stuck with me. But yes, a poop emoji. Okay, I'll add that to the list of things to do when I can be bothered and get round to it. I have got a fart one ready to go. I just haven't got round to uploading it. Not afraid to cry if I can remember how to. Oh, I went for decades without shedding a tear, except for laughter. Usually it's someone else's expense. Yeah. Even just a couple of hours just to and just let everything just open up and de-stress and just relax. Why this is a wonderful hobby, because you can just sit and watch a tank and you can watch fish doing fish stuff and just chill and just sit and watch, you know, the interactions, the behaviors, the general derpiness. Fish that helps along with a good brew. Yes. Beer. Last time I cried when micromics and cracks and things broke down on the stream. Truly heartbreaking. Yeah. I say I'm not afraid. Not afraid. So it doesn't bother me anymore if I do. But if I watch something sad, then you know I'll cry. I'll shed a tear. It's fine. Oh, sorry for that, Zoltan. Um, sympathies, thoughts, good vibes, and a hug. Because, you know, everyone needs a hug. And despite what Alpha Sigma males and Giga Chads might say, hugging another man is not gay. Favourite small barb species? I've not really kept any barbs. Don't think I've had any. I've not had tigers. Not had, I've not kept them, but I'd probably say cherry barbs. Just because you can change the lyrics to Cherry Pie by Warrant quite easily. Yeah, cherry barbs, because they're pretty, they're quite easy to breed, they're not aggressive, you can keep them with virtually anything, they're fairly bomb proof. Yeah, I'd probably go cherry barbs. Been a lot of green and black tiger barbs for sale around here lately. Black tiger barb, I kind of can't see the point of. It's just like all the strip. It's just one big black stripe. It's like, if you want small black fish, there's plenty of other options that aren't likely to destroy the rest of your tank mates. Yeah, always a silver lining. You've got to stay positive. You don't have to stay positive. You can have the days that you need or the times that you need if you need to feel down and negative. We all deal with things our own way. We're all slightly different, and no one deals with, especially with grief of a loss of a loved one, especially a child. I'll say Mary had a stillborn child many years ago, and yeah, it's not nice. Fish keeping is one of those hobbies where, as long as you get the small stuff, like about a small patch of algae or oh, is that a new white spot on my angelfish's fin or something? Just chill and enjoy, and the tank's healthy. Yeah, it's good brain cheese. Yeah, exactly. It's okay to not be all right. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. Exactly. Good Floyd quote as well. And yeah, Fish Fam. I've been involved in a lot of online communities over the years, and Fish Fam is, there's the occasional falling out and bit of squit, but generally there's nothing but positive and supportive helpful. So just look at what happened to Debs earlier this year and how Fish Fam rallied around Mike and t'other Mike. And even just here, Mark donating 10 memberships. You know, it might seem a little thing to him, but to me, you know, it's a big thing. It's showing support and appreciation and all that kind of stuff, and all the good stuff. And sorry, Mark, don't want to embarrass you, honest. Tommy, you need to get Matt to update your fishfan.link page, your email, PayPal, and FaceAche info. Make sure. If an albino Corey eats a glow tetra, will they glow? We do not want glow Corys. The Corey wouldn't, but the poop might. Yeah, if someone eats a bunch of glowfish, will it do glow poop afterwards? Who do I know that keeps glowfish and might have a bite you? I can't do that experiment because glowfish are illegal in the UK. You don't need a glow biter. If you've ever kept biters, bishiers, bikers, whatever, dino fish, if you ever kept them and you've got that point where the lights in the tank are off and you've got no lights on in the house, as it were, so it's all dark, but it's like it's just getting daylight and that little ray of sun comes through the window and just catches the bicher's eyes just right, and they just glow red. Literally, they glow red. First time I saw it, I thought I had a demon in the tank. I was like, what the hell is that? And then I realised it was just Spazzy Boy. Yeah, I mean, the albino Corys do it to an extent as well, but obviously their eyes are rather tiny compared to a bicher. Yeah, I mean, the reason the eyes do that is they have a tapetum, which is the reflective layer behind the eyeball, so they can hunt at night. If you're on my Facebook, is it going to trust you enough to see my family? Am I? I think I know I've got you on Messenger. A tank full of green glowfish would look like a living lava lamp. Finally, a use for the column tanks, the big, little round column tanks. Stick a bunch of same colour glowfish in there, it will look like a lava lamp. Perfect. Avoid Facebook like the plague is. I still kind of enjoy Facebook. It means I get to troll people, and I'm always trolling people on Facebook most of the time. And cute bunny rabbit pages as well. So, you know, I mean, even when I'm not trying to troll people, it's on the fish keeping pages. Well, honestly, I'm not trying to troll. It just comes across like I am. Use Facebook to promote my YouTube. I probably should use Facebook to promote my YouTube. I'm in a bunch of groups where you're allowed to post links to your videos. I just keep bloody forgetting. So hey, if anyone ever feels like sharing one of my videos to somewhere, feel welcome. Be here making coffee, feed the pups, hunt for shrimp molts. Highly do not recommend Scuturella japonica parasites. Oh, yes, I had. It was either that or the other one. Basically has the same outcome. On my Blue Dreams cherry shrimp. I think I might have titled the video something like, "Oh no, my shrimp have beards," or "My shrimp are hairy," or something like that. I literally treated it with saltwater dips. Made a very, very salty jug of water. It took 3 or 4 weeks, 3 or 4 goes or whatever, but when I was doing the water change, catch all the shrimp out, dunk them in the very salty salt water for 30 seconds to a minute, and back into clean water, then back into the tank. I didn't like put them straight back in the tank because, what makes you get all of them? I did the salt the tank method. Yeah, well, I say it's. I didn't want to salt the whole tank because I had plants and stuff in there that might not have done too well with it. Yeah, cleared it up easy. No need for nasty strong chemicals. It was only like a 20, what was it, a 15 litre tank? So yeah, it was easy enough to catch all the shrimp out of there. Drain the tank, add high salt, then fill it up to dilute. Yeah, that'll do the same trick. But yeah, I just did it the way that worked best for me. So 15 litre tank and net, and just catch them all and dunk them all. I'd rather catch shrimp over fish. Depends on the species. Bristlenoses are super easy to catch. Live bearers are normally super easy to catch until you get down to the last 2 or 3, and then they're a nightmare. Could fry try, yes. I'll say, if you look back last year, I was running a unfiltered, unmaintained tub outside the back door here, and the temperatures went up to over 40 degrees C in a black 10-gallon tub. And by the end of the summer, when I brought them in, I had more shrimp than I started with, and they were a lot bigger as well. Yeah, it's going to need a lot of fried cherry shrimp to make a meal, though. A bit crunchy. I wouldn't want to be trying to de-shell the bloody things. That's what's damn sure. Bamboo shrimp, yeah, or Achagabanensis, the vampire shrimp, or the African wood shrimp. You could get the tail and body and the claws as well. Be a decent amount of meat on those. I mean, they're bloody expensive. Yeah, that might work. There you go, crayfish tank. Breed your own crayfish just so you can eat them. As Tommy's working out how to do that. I know what Tommy's like. Vampire shrimp with a bloody man. True. Plus, they're racist. Yeah, and generally a kind of bluish colour, like me. And they sit there doing Al Jolson all day long. If you could hear them, they'd be singing "Mammy" as well. So yeah, they can be a bit awkward. And they are like little bulldozers walking, not so little bulldozers walking around the tank. I did have a pair in there, JC and B, which if you get the joke, you get the joke. But yeah, then Spaz ate them. The Baisha. he got to the point where he was big enough that he was eating vampire shrimp. Bamboo shrimp remind me of cockroaches. Funny you say that. first. I mean, I'd had them for a while, but it was the first time I'd actually seen one free swimming around in the tank. And I just caught it out the corner of my eye, and my brain went to locust. Ooh, ooh, yeah, fried cherry shrimp and fried rice. Had a nice splash of colour as well, wouldn't it? Shrimp fried rice. Ooh. Like shudders. Yeah, it's just. I mean, I think I got 3 of them, but did I have 3? Yeah, but yeah, when they're like that size and they're scooting around the tank, they do look like a locust. Make a mean fried rice. Uncle Roger would even love. What about Uncle Ben? Would Uncle Ben like it? Now Uncle Ben has disappeared from the packaging because apparently it's racist. To have a kindly, benevolent character called Ben, who's an uncle and is dark-skinned. Apparently that's racist. I don't know. I miss it completely. Oh, maybe you guys got, yes, the 24 carat, the goldy ones. Obviously, I joke. Which you're talking. This is someone who, when I do my water changes on my shrimpy colony, I do it in the sink, and the plug goes in, and I stand there with a net and a torch or flashlight, not flashlight, and it's like looking for shrimp or shrimplets that might have escaped and somehow managed to get in there, and it's like, gotcha. There's always at least half a dozen of them, and they usually, I think they're probably on the filter when I clean the filter media out. Uncle Ben is a great. Yeah, so I don't see the problem with it. It's Uncle Ben. That's not got any negative connotations as far as I'm aware. And having a person of color, dark-skinned person, whatever the correct terminology these days is, on the packaging smiling. How is that bad? How is that exploitative or racist? Historically, there might have been some slavery connection going on there or something, but that's not what it's about these days. Chef Boyardee, yeah, we don't get that in the UK, thankfully. Uncle Tom. Yeah, I've read the book and seen the movie. Good night. Well, actually, that was Mr. Tom, wasn't it? Not Uncle Tom. Good night, Mr. Tom, by Michelle Magorian, I believe. Excellent book about refugees in World War II. Can't be 88 cents for a meal. Uncle Tom is a white sympathiser slang. That stuff is whack. I reject the idea of race. Yes, except for the French, obviously. Sorry, Angelique. It's a national pastime. Yeah, I'm just sick of it. It's like, we're all the same species. We're all humans. Just get on, deal with it. Exactly. On our behalf, at least, it's a kind of light-hearted jibe. We don't mean anything by it. Too sure how the French go. I think they might be a bit more serious when they send it back this way. But they call us the roast beefs. Because apparently eating roast beef is worth taking the mickey out of compared to eating frogs. Sorry. Oh dear, let's get off the French, shall we? Napoleon, no. Roast beer, no. I know where we can go from that. So, if you remember when I cycled the Boudica way, don't really want to keep bringing it up because it's kind of painful. and I didn't get anywhere near the content recorded I wanted to. Country in Texas get called a lot of things. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. Like, Australians have a go at New Zealanders. Yes, bunch of sheep botherers, those bloody Kiwis. It's all in good fun, exactly. Uh, Disney distances itself from the Song of the South. Yeah, definitely. Uncle Remus is the best Disney princess. Probably the most realistic. Not about hay with a Adele. It's about friendly competition. Yeah. No, it's all about the spirit of cricket after all. Let's be honest. Speaking of country, yes, farm emo as I call it. Manda Panda, how are you, my darling? Always wonderful to see you. Super busy Sunday. I had a few minutes. But it's stopping to say howdy. Well, howdy, my dear. And howdy to all the Zenlets and Mr. Zen and all the furry amphibian friends. Yes, so today, there was a church I cycled past on the Boudica Way. Me and Mary went to visit it today. I'd heard rumours that it might be, a little bit paranormal. There's someone else's video that I watched on uh, walking the Boudica Way, and they stopped off for lunch at this particular church. And yes, Mash was bought out by Disney. That makes Klinger a Disney princess, and hot lips. Um, oh dear. But yeah, so we visited said church today. Yeah, it's haunted. Suffice to say, Mary saw her first apparition today. And no, there weren't any brown trousers involved. Um, yeah, video on that coming up soon. Yeah, there was a general vibe in the churchyard that there was something there. There's an old earthwork or pit or something by the side of the church in a field that had its own vibe coming off of it. And then we went in the church. That wasn't pleasant. So while we're in there, we heard knocking, heavy breathing. Something grabbed my leg and grabbed Mary's legs. Uh, and we both saw an apparition in different windows. Um, so, yes. Food or shrimps. I've got this jar of food, like 10 times the size that's useful. There's too much food. Been feeding for months and barely looks like I've used any of the jar. Yeah, feed it to your fish. Don't worry about this is shrimp food, this is fish food, this is this food, this is that food. I'm sure in some cases it makes a difference. Probably 90%, 95% of the ingredients are the same. I don't have shrimp food. My shrimp get fish food. There's some flake, some granules, some even Daphnia, freeze dried algae wafers. Whatever I happen to be feeding the fish at that time, whichever pot of fish food I got on my hand, if it goes in the shrimp tank, and job done. Yeah, Corey's will eat it. If it sinks and it's on the bottom, Corey's will munch it. Don't worry about that. It's always me knocking on your back door. Just don't analyze the ectoplasm. Oh. I thought it tasted a bit salty. No, church. There was a can't remember the name of the church it was in Thelberton. It was a I mean, there was a thing in the church that said from 1308 to 2008, but I'm pretty sure the church goes back before then, probably the 1100s to the current building, and there would probably have been a site of worship of some description on there, going back thousands of years probably. Most current churches are built on previous. We're just using the word pagan just to cover all the various historical religions. Yeah, we don't have Target either in the UK, thankfully, or Walmart. They tried when they bought Asda, and then they realised it doesn't work in the UK. You have to treat your employees like humans, vaguely. Yeah. Kmart or Big W. Target is too bougie. Gold. Yeah, so we got a lot of different supermarkets in the UK, some of which have tried America and failed, much in the way that some American supermarkets have tried Europe and failed. It's just completely different shopping cultures. And from what I see of various Karening incidents in the US, yeah, that really wouldn't. Staff just wouldn't put up with it. They just get banned from the store straight away. Both tanks, Neos are swarming like they've never had a meal before, and the admonishment for ignoring everything continue. Yeah. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's the old saying. Yeah, I'll say they'll eat what they find. They're all grazers, and just do what they do. See you later, AG Zen. Have a good one. Churches are built on the site of Roman temples, which is built on all now Iron Age sites, which are built on Bronze Age sites, etc., etc., etc. Well, there's a reason these people are worshipping or leaving offerings or whatever here. This must be a special place. We shall put our place of worship here. That's one way to stop them doing what they do. Yeah. So it's one of those things where what you encounter paranormal wise at a church might not be someone who's buried in that church. Might not be someone who's buried in the preceding church. Might not even be human. It could be someone, especially over here anyway, from thousands of years ago. So, I mean, you'll see when the video goes up, but that wasn't a natural pit, as it were, or a hole in the ground. I mean, it looked to me like an earthwork where something had been taken away. So whether it was an old church that got robbed of building materials and had an undercroft or crypt, as it were, because the new one had a crypt, the one we visited today, that wasn't a pleasant vibe either. Where do you even put the letter U in Walmart? I'd put it at the start. U wall part. We've been hinge collapse in 2300 BC. Exactly. I mean, it's in a field which a farmer keeps animals in. There weren't any animals in it, but there was a sign saying beware of the bull. So the farmer does keep livestock in there, and it wasn't holding any water. It was completely dry grass, blah, blah, blah. We've had plenty of rain lately. So if it was a water holding pond, it would hold water. KJE is here. Just cut grass. It's hot AF. Yes, it's cooler here today than it has been. It's about 8 or 9 degrees cooler than yesterday. That's in C, not in F, so whatever the conversion is. Yeah, it's hot. Just leave it. Grass is okay. It ain't going to go anywhere. I never understood the, oh no, I need to keep my grass at such a length that it's absolutely no use to anything. So where was I? Hinge collapses. Yeah, so yeah, it didn't look natural. A farmer's not going to dig a pit in a field that he's going to keep livestock in. City finds you. Yeah, not in the UK they don't. We're smart enough to not go, yes, let's have a homeowners association. If you rent, then your landlord can probably get the grump with you and kind of make you do it. But when you own, there's not a lot they can do about it. Not HI is the actual city. Yeah, no. It's private property. They have no say on it whatsoever. And there are some laws that you have to abide by, like you can't have a 6-foot fence around the front garden, like you do around the back garden. A lot of farmers did dig big pits for livestock a few years ago. Yeah, it doesn't look like a foot and mouth trench, let's put it that way. Yeah, I'm familiar with what the foot and mouth pits look like, Mark. It wasn't one of them. It's one of those that's been there a while. You get that kind of feeling. It's not settling. It's where it's been for a long time. We have a sign saying "Beware of the bull above Parliament." Yeah. Yeah, we'll try and stay out of politics. Most of you know what my views on politics are, so we get a notice from the town sometimes. Usually, someone go F themselves. Yeah, it's just a completely alien concept to a Brit that the town or city council can tell you what you can do and can't do to that degree with your property. Obviously, there are planning laws, so you can't just build an extension without planning. Plenty of people do, and then they have to knock it all down again and get rid of it because they've not got planning permission for it. Usually leads to a very compo-faced article in the local newspaper. Yeah, we can't have wildlife. Oh, ew. And I bet if you pulled up all the grass and replaced it with astroturf, they'd probably complain about that as well. That is something that's happening quite a lot in the UK now, though. Lawns are being replaced with astroturf because, let's be honest, you just have to vacuum it every year. It's a lot easier to look after, and it's about as useful for wildlife. I mean, which garden do you think has more wildlife in it? My neighbour that side, which is all concrete and slabs. My neighbour that side, which is just a patch of grass and nothing else. Or mine, which I'm not too scared. Overgrown, wild. Let's see how far we can actually get. Let's do scaries. So yeah, somewhere around here about. So yeah, overgrown, wild, bushes, trees, pond, weeds, all sorts. Can you guess which one's got birds nesting in it and mammals and all sorts? Active fire breaks in rural areas. Yeah, I mean, I get it if you get, that's an issue. But it's not an issue here. Homeowners letters warning, we have to fix something, or they will come and fix it and have the right to invoice us. Usually it's twice the price. Yeah, well, that's where you go. No. No, it's my house. I certainly couldn't live in an HOA. I mean, if I was in America and looking to buy somewhere and it came up with, this is in an HOA, I'd go, do I have to sign this bit of paper that says I want to join the HOA and pay these fees? Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm not signing that. Got Karen down. I've got a Karen over the back. Yeah, he's like that with his lawn. It has to be perfectly cut. There can't be a single weed in it. Everything has to be just perfect, because that's how you judge your worth of an adult male, is by his lawn. I may have let all the dandelions go to seed last year and blown all the seeds into his back garden. Spray him with a water hose so I stop talking this show. Yeah, just soak them and moon them. But yeah, it's raised beds. They'll probably complain, oh, they're not the right kind of flowers. Yeah, they're not flowers. Or they'll moan about it, and then just as everything's bearing fruit, you'll wake up one morning and it'll all be gone because Karen's come round and stolen it all. HOA Association paperwork, part of the title transfer. You just cross it out. That's simple. Cross that section out, and then you sign. And you go. And they go, oh no, you need no, I don't. I pay my taxes. I'm not paying my taxes to the local council and then paying tax, as it were, to someone else. And pretty much any time I see things about HOAs, they always seem to be corrupt. It was over 20 years ago. Didn't know any better. That's why I'm in the country. Yes, being in the country. Have you ever heard of civil asset forfeiture? I have heard of it. And if anyone tried that in the UK, they would find themselves up in court. Because it's not a thing in the UK. Civil asset forfeiture. Yeah. No. The only way they can take your house away from you is A, out of your cold dead hands. B, if you have massive debts, and it's the only way you're going to get them paid back. Or if you don't pay the mortgage, which comes under the second one. Because yes, there have been some that just stopped paying their mortgages because they didn't think anything bad could happen. And then the bank repossesses the house, and then they get all upset because they don't have a house anymore. Find themselves with a gun. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, it just wouldn't fly over here. An Englishman's home is his castle. And now, if someone says, "No, would you mind cutting that? You know, it's getting a bit," and fair enough. You know, if it's out the front, I kind of get it. But if it's out the back and there's a 6-foot fence around it, back gardens have a thing of privacy. Right? It's your garden. People aren't meant to be looking in your garden without your permission. And yeah. HOA is just a way for people to make money out of other people living close by. That I wouldn't. If they tried bringing an HOA, I mean, it'd be quite funny around here because they possibly could, but there's enough people actually own our houses, and they couldn't do a thing about it. So, yeah, it's one thing if you're part of a housing association, which is a kind of how to explain a housing association. Basically, a company that buys a bunch of houses, and then you can buy them, either rent or buy them off of them, but you like pay 20%, or you buy percentages of the house, which is what I did until I owned it. Yes, napalm also works with polythene bags if you melt those into the gasoline. But yeah, it's the same. Like, you know, fence blew over that was their job to fix. They didn't fix it for 6 months, but they're still fining people for stupid little things. What? So that's another one of those ones I don't get. Okay, you know, we all know what day our bin day is, or trash collection day. So you'll put your bin out, then you might forget to bring it in, or you might put it out the day before because when the trash guy comes around, you're either going to be asleep or you're going to be out, and you don't want to deal with it in the morning. And then people complain about it. Karen Club, exactly. It's the people who want the neighbourhood to be a certain way at all times. The people who are more worried about the value of their property than they are anything else. But they have long grass in their garden. That will reduce the value of my property. No, it won't. Oh, try Florida. No. Florida is hot and humid. Right? That's reason enough. Plus, it's Florida. Yeah, exactly. We all need to live in a neighbourhood that looks like that of Edward Scissorhands. And you know, they would have been complaining about the state of the castle up on the hill. On holiday, I got fined for putting the bin out early. I'd like to see him chase that one up. No. I mean, I understand if you're leaving it there for weeks on end, you know, or you just leave the trash can at the end of the driveway and just take the trash bags out to it. I can understand people getting upset about that. But, you know, it being out a little bit early and then not being brought back early enough. Suppose when all the bayou grass between the subdivisions is so high you could lose a toddler, we get a note when anything that reaches above 3 inches. Yeah. Oh, well, that's why you just send it back and you just say, I'll cut my grass when you cut yours. putting up a pink flamingo in the yard. Pink flamingo and a pride flag, that'll sort them out. Anything with a rainbow, that'll upset them. Trash can location, please. Cans also cannot be visible from outside, so make sure you have a shed for everything. Yeah, well, I mean, let's just say that my standard waste bin, wheelie bin, and my recycling bin live out across the road on my parking space, and my garden waste bin lives up against my front wall. Purely because that's the most sensible place to put it. And yeah, nobody's complained. If the neighbours' bins are out on the road, they get hit. Yeah. So it's not in the road, it's actually on my parking bay, but in personal parking space. I think in general, actually I can't really generalise. I mean, in the UK we do seem to be a lot less Karen-y about things like that. Obviously there are Karens around. They soon just get told to F off. And eventually they upset enough people that everyone just tells them to F off and they go away, move somewhere else. Plus it's the little country town. You go a mile any direction, you're in the butt into nowhere, so put Chuck Norris bins out for him. Yeah. Chuck Norris isn't the hardest man alive or the hardest item in the universe. There is a monster under Chuck Norris's bed that he's scared of. It's the one thing Chuck Norris is scared of. Fred Dibner. We'll have the same lawn guy. Everyone's front yard looks the same all the time. We get RV parking spots. We get fined if you park an RV. Oh my god! Seriously? Oh yeah. I mean, Chuck Norris is a man's man. He's like a walking ball of testosterone. But Fred Dibner's done stuff did stuff that Chuck Norris wouldn't do. For those who don't know, Fred Dibner, I'll put it in the chat because it's an interesting spelling of the surname. He was a steeplejack. So basically, his entire job was climbing up like 200 or 300 foot tall chimneys and either fixing them or knocking them down, and he did it the old school way. So when you see him climbing a vertical ladder 300 feet in the air, getting up there, no safety gear, hammer and bolster, and just knocking down these massive industrial chimneys. Yeah. And the way he put, if you look, there's plenty of reaction. The reactions are funny. But laddering a chimney, that's the one you want to watch because, yeah. Yes, just steeplejacks in particular are nuts. He's made some deals, and I'm betting the blood of a baby deer in someone's firstborn were involved. Him and Martha Stewart. Yeah. Chuck Norris's reflection is afraid of Chuck Norris. Yes, when Chuck Norris does push-ups, he doesn't push himself up, he pushes the world down. Yeah, I've heard them all. Yeah. Even Chuck Norris would tip his hat at Fred Dibner. Met one of Chuck's brothers, pretty cool, often is spotting a movie for an action scene. B movies. Yeah, usually B movies are better than A movies. You notice that? All the big Hollywood blockbusters, and you're like, okay, it's pretty people, an unbelievable plot, and a whole load of CGI, which you can see straight away. And you watch the B movie, and it's actually a lot more entertaining. Hello, hello, M&C, Owen, Muttonka. Aquatics. That's what happens when you got a. Oh god, what? I'll go and make a joke and then I'll forget the word. It's not Alzheimer's. Oh god, what's that condition that makes you swear randomly? Father Jack had it. Yeah, that's aquatics. Fred's cool dude. I'm the jokes burn out too fast. Yeah, if you see Fred Tourette's, that's the one. Aquatics. That's what you get when you have a fish with Tourette's. Finally got to the joke and it was no longer funny. I don't know, Tommy. I think plenty would have paid to see that. Dinner dilemma for Lady. Seafood. I'm guessing that's Mexican. So chilaquiles, something like that, or African veg stew. Yeah, I'd go seafood. Back when you were 21. Yeah, perfect age to do that kind of thing. I could just see you being an extra in the background, giving it live long and prosper. Sorry. I do not mean to make light of your disfigurements. I wouldn't do it. Perfect pronunciation. There you go. Still elbow deep in plecos, yes. Worked out, I've got about 900 at the moment. That's still a piece of cassava. I mean, potatoes grow in Africa, all sorts of stuff grows there. So yeah, I mean, it's a veg stew just with African spices, let's put it that way. Funny hearing a person from Wisconsin pronounce Mexican food names, just as funny hearing a British guy try to. Why, thank you. I mean, I have actually heard people call them tortillas and fajitas. It's like, have you not seen burritos? Is another one, and Doritos, garbanzo yams and rice. The rice sounds nice. Saw my clown the other day, still kicking almost 5 years later. It's 8th or 9th time. That's funny you should say that because Nabo was talking about clown plecos earlier. So I do actually see mine a lot more often now. They're in the black water tank where you'd think you wouldn't be able to see them. But they're well camouflaged, so a little less hidey uppy. What the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean? Never had a garbanzo bean on my face. Oh, not in the beard. Luigi says hi and she wants her wood back. I want my wood back. Well, yeah. Sorry, that's I Want My Tears Back by Nightwish. Excellent tune. As are all Nightwish tunes. I highly recommend them all. And Aerion. If you're not familiar with either band, I suggest you become. If you're going to go with Aerion, maybe don't start with Everybody Dies, though. It might be a bit much to take in a 5-minute song. What is it? So you got three. So you got Marcelo Bovio, Zet Vandenberg, Irene Janssen, Mike Mills, not that Mike Mills, uh, Tommy Karovic, Hansi Kush, Maggie Leutens, and Floor Jansen. So there's nine singers in that song, and it's 5 minutes long. So if you watch the live version, it's Dutch prog metal. It sounds a lot better in real life than it sounds when you describe it that way, though. Saying earlier about shrimp food, yes, Amanos get whatever and will eat whatever. Neo's had malt issues, so giving shrimp food with extra calcium. Yeah, I don't have to worry about calcium. If I think the tank is a bit low on calcium, I'll just chip a few bits off of a tap or faucet. Thought lost my 5-year-old Dovi finally yesterday, lay on his side on the bottom of the tank, till I reached in to get him and he bit me. Yeah, just having a derpy snooze, that's all. It's like when you see a bristlenose, it's flat on their back and you panic and you're like, no, they just fell asleep or no, they suckered onto something upside down and just dropped. Didn't bother waking up. Find that fairly regularly. Doug does that one quite a lot. So does Ginger. She will sleep on her back. And Spotty, well, Bertie will as well. She's in there somewhere. I mean, you'd think the sort of 6.5 inch long, bright yellow bristlenose would be fairly visible, but apparently not. I know exactly where she is. She's inside the tree stump that's behind that crypt. She'll be up down in the middle of that tree stump having a snooze right now. And yeah. Come on, Linneas. Come on. Yeah, you'll think you're getting fed, don't you? Look at them all. It's ridiculous. Redonkulous, I tells you. Better not let the fish police see that. Still starting to wonder if keeping a massive amount of shrimp in a small tank constitutes a food web, like 29 gallon with neon tetras and 100 shrimp. Shrimp have babies, neons eat babies. Yeah. Although I would, and this isn't just me thinking this, add a bristlenose. Mark Shrimp Tanks has done that recently. He added bristlenoses to his large cherry shrimp colony, and he's gone from strength to strength. And that's someone who has always said, no, don't put any fish with shrimp because it's not safe, which is a sensible thing to say because we all know the people who have put shrimp in with cichlids and then wondered where the shrimp have gone. Well done, you just bought some expensive snacks. But yeah, it does turn out that my thinking was right, that having something like a bristlenose or a couple of clown plecos in with shrimp does, for some reason, they just do better. Yeah, as Nabo says as well. Yeah, I mean, let's say the clowny. Yeah, I'll say when I had 3 clowns in the 9 gallon with the shrimp, yeah, the shrimp were nuts. Now there's no plec in there at all. There is 1 pygmy Cory and 1 remaining CPD, and the shrimp ain't doing so good. So I'm gonna grab when I remember, grab a longfin super red and just drop one of them in there. And that'll sort things out again. Might even keep the snail numbers down a bit as well. by eating the food that the snails get. Keep your shrimp with neons, glass cats, cories, and mollies. Yeah. I mean, I've kept shrimp with. Oh, they won't glow like Danio's. There's a flavour of Danio and African butterfly cichlids, and yeah, the shrimp went nuts. There was a lot of plants and hidey holes in that tank, and I didn't realise there was shrimp in there for quite a while until I went to move something one day, and there's just a massive cloud of shrimp went zooming everywhere. Maybe so I haven't had many deaths on there. There's always eating live food, bugs, daphnia, or shrimplets. Probably guilty of feeding shrimp culls to the age. It's not a guilty thing. If you're clearing out, I mean, if you've got culls, what else are you going to do? Have a cull tank that then just keeps multiplying into cullier and cullier shrimp, and then you got to figure out what the heck to do with them, especially if you can't sell them. So yeah, feed them to the angels. I don't see an issue with that. You're not doing it to be cruel or get clicks like some people do, where I'll have a gulp of catfish and the video will be feeding a goldfish to my gulp or feeding a koi to my gulp. Yeah. No, that's just clickbait. That's just being a nonce. It's animal cruelty, but in nature, that's what would happen. Although it wouldn't be the culls that got eaten, weirdly, in nature, it would be the bright red ones, because the culls would be well camouflaged. The irony. Yeah, it's no different than raising daphnia or brine shrimp or mosquito larvae or anything like that. It's live food. At the end of the day, I understand why, yes, some people can get upset about it, but what a lot of the people that tend to get upset over these things, I find, from my admittedly fairly limited research, let's be honest, I'm not quoting any papers or anything here, it will be people with one, maybe two tanks that they are virtually sterile. They'll have a tank with a betta, they'll have a tank with half a dozen shrimp, and then they get the prospect of like me chucking out a batch of bristlenose eggs. So then that's absolutely horrific and they'd never do it. But they don't have hundreds or thousands of fish, shrimp, snails. I mean, it's no different when you think about it to having a puffer fish, pea puffers or scoot and fruities or whatever other flavors, and breeding and feeding snails to the puffer fish. It's exactly the same thing. Evening, Ricky. How you doing, my friend? Hope all is well with you. Thanks for the next video. Clickbait of feeding goldfish to my angelfish. Feeding goldfish to the dog. That would upset people. Quite rightly. Yeah, so it's, I mean, each to their own, obviously. But when you're breeding, and so with shrimp, if you're trying to cull out to keep the right color and what have you, or the right characteristics, so with guppies, because you want the horrific mutts, or whatever reason you've got culls, well, what's crueler, keeping them alive and making more and more and more and more things that either you or nobody wants, or just feed your other animals with them? Well, slightly tipsy. the stupid C word is not going to stop me drinking. At least it'll take a lot to stop that. Even then, they'll probably just, I'll say, even at that point, they'll probably just preserve you in alcohol, Ricky, so don't worry about it. Life feeds on life is necessary. Maynard James Keenan. Yes. And there is a man who talks a lot of sense. Especially if you're eating organic plants, because organic fruit and veg tends to have far more animals in it than non-organic does. But, you know, yeah, everything consumes everything else. It's called food chain. Starts off with microorganisms and ends up at apex predators. And that is why the humans are so successful. We have made ourselves the apex predator of everything. Drink beer. I drink beer a lot. Yeah. Come back home, mum's mad, saying you have the C word, and we went out drinking. What's wrong with you? Nothing. African stew is minimize food chain damages of shrimp and scallops. Yes, it's pronounced scallop, not scallop. I'll say if you come to terms with it, Ricky, then you do what's right for you. As I've said many a time to many a people, we get one life. We get one chance at this. May as well bloody enjoy it when you can. As Mark says, and the apex predators, when they die, they feed the microorganisms, which starts the circle off again. And when you think about it, the only thing that comes into our planet is sunlight. So everything else, organic matter-wise, is here. It's not going to multiply. You can't make more organic matter without having organic matter to start with. So you need something to create that. So it's the sunlight that does it. Yeah, live to the fullest. Yeah, exactly. Can't get back mad at Mama for being worried though. Yeah, there is that. And I'm not going to start singing Elton John tracks from Disney songs. Lumps of rock. Oh, that's yeah. The occasional lump of rock does hit, but there's not too much organic matter on those. Let's hope. Most of the organic matter that might have been on them burnt up in the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is like an antivirus. It keeps live stuff from out there from getting down here. Exactly. I mean, I know, I've known people that caught sounds the wrong word. Developed is probably the correct term. Developed lung cancer and then gave up smoking. You got terminal lung cancer. Giving up smoking ain't going to help now. I know I should, but hey. We've got to have something we enjoy. Now, next is getting Joey from YouTube, getting down to India. Got his mobile number. Yeah, it's probably better that you don't drunk call him. Mind you, if you're talking about the Queen of DUI, being drunk might help. Yeah. People put cigarettes in my casket. Yeah. I've often joked that they're going to take my lungs out when I die and they're going to use them to fill a pothole in a road. So with that much tar in there. Yeah. So Joe's probably drunk anyway. Yeah. I say that jokingly because I've never actually had any dealings with Joey. Um, I just go by what other people have said. And from what I've taken from watching some of his video, there's 4 hours Joe will be tipsy, guaranteed. Yeah, there we go. Financial authorities warn that smoking is a wealth hazard. Yeah, that's definitely it. But yeah, it's yeah, vaping was the cheap alternative, but yeah, now that's getting just as expensive, if not more so, and also creating a heck of a lot more lemon waste litter. With all the disposable vapes that people buy for their, now they're going out drinking or whatever, so they take a disposable vape with them, and then they just throw it on the floor when they're done, rather than put it in a bin. Jellystone, how you doing? Good to see you for the last couple of minutes at least. So for anyone who's a bit grumbly about my time slot, I've had this time slot for donkey's years. um, it works for me. Because used to be down the wormhole, D would be on, and then me, and then Joseph would be on after me. And they both stopped and just left me sat in the middle. So, yeah, eventually, I think there are people that go before and after me. I think Jason Degenerate goes before me, and Brienne used to go after me. I don't know if she still does. I think someone does. Just so glad they took away my favourite flavoured tobacco so they can give vape users strawberry, passion fruit, mango, kiwi, kitty punch. Yes. Respect for everyone until you give me a reason not to. Yeah, I tend to work on the same kind of principle. I'll treat someone well until they give me a reason not to. Yeah, stuck in the middle with me. You're an absolute stealer's wheel. Yes. Clowns to the left. Actually, the clowns are to the right. I need some joker fish so I can pull that joke off. Catching loads of fish. Good, good, good. Mental exercise only. Say you had to downsize to any one tank, any size, water change intolerable. How would you do it? Uh, I'd just get something bigger and basically do the same thing. I'd have a couple of pairs of bristle noses. I'd have a flavour of live bearer, some shrimp, some snails, some dwarf cichlids. Job done. That's basically all my tanks condensed into one. It wouldn't be too huge either, probably 100-gallon, maybe even 75. But it'd be longer rather than taller. I really don't see the point in 4 foot deep tanks that you need. You can't reach the bottom of. Government though, yeah, smite to death all of them. No side, just all of them. Yeah. Politicians, they all suck. Always throws me off. I see the light sometimes going, it's 2 p.m. Yeah, slight time difference, 6 hours ahead of you. Oh yeah, if we wanted to cut down to one tank, we would have to give up fish. Now, like the Shelleys wouldn't be able to go into a planted tank with a bunch of other stuff. Well, I said 2 tanks only, 2 6-foot tanks. That's the way to do it. But Yeah, of course, absolutely want to treat everyone that I want to be treated. If you don't give them that, yeah, I'll say exactly. This is it. You start off with anytime you meet someone, you treat them how you'd like them to treat you, and if all goes well, that's how it carries on. If they prove themselves not to be worthy of that, then you don't give them that. It's quite simple, except for the French, obviously. Yeah, I think we call that malicious compliance, Mark. Like when a boss tells you not to do something, so you don't do it, and then they find out you were the only person that was actually doing it, and it hasn't been done for a month. Yeah. But anyway, unfortunately, my time is up. I've got to go find something to eat and have a scratch and sing a song. So thank you to everyone for turning up. Thank you again to Mark for the memberships. Hope everyone has a wonderful and safe week. Nothing too freaky or weird or disrespectful happens to you. Have fun. Stay safe. Peace out. Rock on. And bye bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah. Hit the damn button, you idiot. We've had enough of you. Turn it off.